Jim, and that is Warren. You're watching Talking Vintage Vendor Corner. This is show number 10. We are brought to you by Decades Reclaimed Vintage Depot, located at 502 West Brennan Road, Lakeland, Florida, 33813. If you want to see more about what Decades has going on, you can check out our other show here on YouTube, Talking Vintage, or you can go on Facebook and check it out. You can see them on the web, decadesreclaimed.com, and on Instagram. So there you go.
We're
Yeah.
all over the
So,
place.
hey, real quickly, we are two vendors, and I'm the owner of Decades Reclaimed Vintage Depot. This show is for vendors like us in places like Decades Reclaimed Vintage Depot. That's what Talking Vintage Vendor Corner is all about. So if that interests you, stick with us, and hopefully we can learn something, or they can learn
Right,
something, or
we
we can
can-
learn
we
something
can learn
together.
too,
Learn
yeah.
together. There you go. Today's topic are going to be a couple of topics that I have pulled off the blogs and websites. People in our industry, other vendors, are asking these questions or making these comments, and we've brought them to our show to discuss them further. The first question, and this really struck me, was why don't owners use free social media? Owners of shops, why don't they use free social media? And then my first thing is, who's not?
Hey,
But I get it. There might be some out there that is not using free social media, but I wonder who that is, because we do that here. But I will say, number one is that free social media is not free. It is not. Once you get a business page, yes, Facebook is going to put it out there and it's going to slide it all over the place. It's going to help you out greatly. But it gets to a point where they want dollars. So your page will stay stagnant without a lot of work and without giving Facebook money. So it's not necessarily free.
so if you give them money, it'll move your.
Yes, yeah. It's
your-
all
your
done
business
about
up front?
algorithms,
Okay.
and cash triggers their algorithms. So, and then my last comment is you are your own business within a shop. So he is the stuff guy, and he's responsible for doing his own advertising. I can say, as the owner of Decades Reclaim, I could put out there Decades Reclaim over 50 vendors, and that might get people excited and bring people in or whatever, but maybe him as the stuff guy has more to share that would interest a particular person, let's say, and bring them into the shop.
Like a train collector.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're your own business owner too. So if you're griping about your shop not utilizing the free social media that isn't always free, then put your money where your mouth is, or put your words into action, and use that free social media to promote not only your shop, but your booth. Your booth. So
Take pictures. of
yeah,
your booth
yeah,
and-
get it up there. All right. Okay, now our next thing that we're going to talk about is what events does your shop or your mall to bring in extra customers? And we started to do this, and I thought, wow, all the stuff that we do here at Decades Reclaim, and I'm just going to go over everything that Decades Reclaim does, because everything I read, we do in one shape or another. You know what I mean?
Right.
So here we go. We do 10, 20 events here at Decades Reclaim Vintage Depot. That's 10% off everything that is regularly priced to the customer, and 20% back in the form of Decades dollars, which are a little funny money that they can spend on a future purchase. It's a 10-20 event, 10% off, 20% back in the form of Decades dollars. So customers come in, we do it usually at night. Our 10-20 events are at night. They get 10% off everything that's regularly priced, and we give them 20% back in the Decades dollars that you can use at a future purchase. Okay, first of all, you're going to ask, well, who pays that 10%? The 10% is absorbed by the vendor, because under contract we have 10% negotiable. We can negotiate 10% off anytime. The shop has the right to do that. So we give the 10% automatically to the customer for the purchase, and then the shop absorbs the 20% back. So we give 20% back, and it does really well. It's not a moneymaker for the shop, but it does bring customers in. They're happy with it. Our vendors seem to like it. That's just one of the things we do. We have done yard sales.
Yes. Yep.
We have a part of our parking lot that we close off. We do yard sales there. We've done craft sales out there. We have done vintage sales out there. So those are all those in one area. I can't think of anything else. Well,
Well, we've done
we've done yeah,
toys.
yeah. So inside the shop, we've done an album sale before. We've done toy sales before. We do one. It's called PCS, Pokemon Comics and Sports Cards. That seems to be very successful for us, and we do that almost every other month, where all of our Pokemon comics and sports cards are a certain percentage off, and we can change that percentage each time. Sometimes it's 25, sometimes it's 50, sometimes it's 75%, and that drives a lot of business. And we do booth sales in the form of vendors of the week. You can sign up to be a vendor of the week. We have 2 slots every week. We run that in the spring and through the summer, basically not off season. And we allow 2 vendors to put their booths on sale. It's the only time in our shop that you can put your booth that's on sale is if it's a store-wide sale or it's the vendor of the week. So again, we do the vendor of the week during the off season, 2 vendors every week. They're responsible for putting their own signs up, taking their own signs down, and notifying the counter what their percentage off would be. And then, let's see, then like I said, we do the store-wide sales where we do those Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th
Right.
of July, Black Friday, Christmas, percentage off.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
And it's the whole shop. Each vendor chooses their percentage off. And if they want to participate, they don't have to participate. And then the customers come in and shop. And that is a store-wide. That's what we call our store-wide ones. We've done we do Easter egg hunt, where they can find an egg. They bring it to the counter. It has a little number, and the number equates to the prize. We gave away I think a couple $100 in our Decades dollars this past Easter, and the rest were candy bags. They could get candy bags. So it was good for the kids because they didn't really care about the Decades dollars. They wanted the candy. Okay.
We've had a turkey hunt.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We've done gift baskets giveaways. We do that during our anniversary. We take a couple baskets, fill them up with items from the shop, put a $50 gift certificate in there, have customers at the counter just give us their first name and phone number on a ticket, and then we draw a name out and we get those. Let's see, we've had the jewelry sale. We've done that a couple of different times where jewelry's on sale. We get vendors together to have a ton of jewelry, not necessarily they can put it all out in their booths because it's extensive, and so we've had jewelry sales, and those done okay. Of course, we've had Jamapalooza.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we have one
Oh,
of our
yes.
vendors here that makes his own jam, and we did Jamapalooza. We set up an area. He was in there, talk about his jams, what you could do with them. He had peanut butter and different types of jams. He had little snacks in there.
Yep.
He took some green
Crackers,
cheese and
yeah, oh, yeah.
yeah, and some samples of the jam. It was really cool. And it's called Jamapalooza. So we've done that. We do a vendor spotlight. We have a section in the shop where we rotate items in and out, and it's our vendor spotlight. We've done flash sale Saturdays. We've taken a few items and we've put them on sale just on the Saturday, only for that Saturday. Well, I talked about the parking lot vintage sale. We've done photo shoots. We've had take your picture with Santa. We actually brought in an old car, an old truck, and we had a photographer came in and took pictures and used items from the shop too. That was kind of cool. We did the pet portraits one time.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, yeah. We had an adoption event. That was pretty big. We had a big adoption event for pets. We've had spirit nights or spirit weekends
Oh.
where a local group would come in and they would encourage their friends and family to come in, and then the shop would give them a certain percentage back in the total sales from their guests that they brought in. Let's see, we've done Santa for seniors. We continue to do that. I say we continue to do these
Right.
things.
Yep.
A few of them we don't do anymore. Toys for Tots every year. We do a Santa and a turkey hunt where we put Santa stickers or turkey stickers on the back of a tag, and then for a set period of time, it's usually a week or so, all of our guests that come in, if you find a Santa sticker or you find a turkey sticker for Thanksgiving, and we run a Thanksgiving a week for Thanksgiving, our turkey hunt, and then we run our Santa hunt a week during December. Any of those times, if you find one of those items, the item's free. And so our vendors will put it on something that they're ready to let go, and it's cool for our customers.
Yeah.
And they can only get 2 things per day. We do have customers that show up just for that, and they'll show up for the entirety of their event every day and take 2 items and don't purchase anything else. But that's not what it's there for. It's for everybody else who doesn't want to abuse it, who just wants to come in, and they're pleasantly surprised when they bring it up and we go, hey, that item is free, because we don't tell them as soon as they walk in. It's kind of like most of our events, if they're a Facebook-driven event, we don't notify the customer when they walk in the door. We want them to be involved with us on Facebook. So, yeah, we don't tell them. We don't tell them, yep. And then let's see, we've had, of course, we had the dollar sale. We already talked about
Yep,
that.
we did.
We had the 5 and dime sale where it was either $5 or 10 cents. We did that one before. We did a spotted dot sale where you put a dot, a little colored dot on the back of a tag, and it corresponded to whatever percentage was off for your booth. So each vendor chose their own percentage,
Yep.
and then they put the dots on their own things. It's called spotted dot. It's kind of like having a store-wide sale, but you get to pick the items that are on sale. It was kind of cool. And I'd already talked about Black Friday. We did junk in the trunk.
Oh, we did.
Junk
Yeah.
in the trunk, where it was just basically a yard sale, but they didn't even take it out of the back of their vehicles. They just pulled in the parking lot and sold it right out of the back. And when we do that, like when we do the yard sale that is coming up or has already happened, I don't know. It
Yeah.
depends on when this show comes out. But we did a dollar yard sale last month. We don't charge the vendors that come in to sell their items. We just give up the space in our parking lot because the event itself drives traffic into the shop. So those are all the events that we do here at Decades Reclaim Vintage Depot. Very extensive. Some of them we still do, some of them we don't. We don't do album sales anymore
Right.
because they didn't drive in what we'd want. We don't do toy sales. But we still do the jewelry sales when we can and stuff like that. The bottom line is, whatever event you can do as a vendor, that you can organize and you can run, is going to be a good event for the shop. You can't always rely on the shop to do all these events. And I know what you're saying, the shops who do them, and then the question is the shop have time, or does it have the personnel to do it? Well, they can hire somebody to do it. That's what people will say. They can hire somebody. Well, any change that the shop makes in order to accommodate your request, if it costs money, somebody's got to pay that, and that's eventually going to come back to you. Okay, our most successful events here at Decades Reclaim Vintage Depot are events that vendors have done themselves. And I think back to the craft sales are always huge, but it's a vendor that organizes them, contacts the people that come in, handles everything. And those are the best events.
Yep.
Really, they're the best events. The jewelry ones,
Yep.
they set it up,
those
they
are
take
vendors,
it down.
yeah.
Jamapalooza.
Yeah.
It's
one.
just one guy.
Big one.
One guy does it all. He sets it up, but and he runs it. So those are going to help your shop out. So these are what we do here at Decades Reclaim Vintage Depot. But as an owner, keep throwing ideas at an owner. He can't do it all himself. Even if it's an ownership team, they can't do it all themselves. You need to step up as a booth owner and say, hey, I want to do this. I can run it. I can do it from top to bottom. I just need the parking lot, part of the parking lot for this day. And then, and the owner may say, well, what's it going to cost me? Well, there's no money to you or whatever. Do you want to charge, to people that come? And they may or may not. Usually, we had the craft events. We charged for the spaces, but we gave that back. We used all the money that we got for either social media to boost it on social media, or we bought our vendors that attended these events coffee in the morning with donuts and then pizza for lunch. So the shop didn't gain any money, but it gained the foot traffic of everybody coming to the craft fair and then coming in the inside of the building. So just think of those things. Yeah. So that's I think that's it for us tonight.
We're a friendly shop.
Yeah, we are, and we do
We
quite a bit.
accommodate, yes.
If you're in the area and you want to check us out, we are located at 502 West Brendan Road, Lakeland, Florida, 33813. A couple shows ago, we had a guest with us, Charlie Belcher.
Oh, yes, we did.
We are never going to be able to top that, but we are going to start including phone guests perhaps
Oh.
in our next show where we'll bring somebody in and we'll see how that goes. But for tonight, I'm Jim. That's Warren. You've been watching Talking Vintage Vendor Corner. Thanks a lot and have a great evening.
Those allergies.
I didn't stop.
Oh, you didn't stop.
No, you're talking
Oh.
about your allergies.